Charles Xavier may be able to read minds, but he cannot read a room to save his life.
What a bar.
Without the man you go and play. You got instincts of humanity. Transform, X-Men, reporting seen in time. Transform, mutant, systems is final death. Now we're X-Men.
Hello, Flat Scans, and welcome to the X-Men. We are the next stage in human evolution. Two trans women exploring the X-Men. And my name is Beth.
My name is Seanny.
And today we are talking about X-Men like we are every day. Are you ready to talk about X-Men, Seanny?
I'm ready to talk about X-Men like we do every single day.
But we also get to talk about dinosaurs and petrified gods.
It sounds good on paper, but is it good on the actual paper?
As if we're reading any of this on paper. We are going to see the X-Men go to the Savage Land, and we are going to get very confused in the process. And then we also get to see a solo adventure from our least favorite character, Professor Charles Xavier. I was pleasantly surprised, but we'll get into it.
I was, not to spoil, but yeah, not bad.
I think, but maybe it was just like, we got out of the Savage Land storyline, and all of a sudden I was like, this is the bare minimum. No, it's a good issue. It's a good issue. Well, I'm just getting into it too early. What are you wearing, Seanny?
I am wearing the first gender-affirming thing I ever bought for myself. It's a simple little black crop. What I like about this is it's got like a little crisscrossy thing here that I don't understand how it works with the fabric. But it's like, you know, when you get a strip of paper and you like tape it together in that loopy way that it makes like a infinity symbol. That's what it is. Yes, a Mobius strip. It's giving that.
I love it. But also my brain, while we were talking about Mobius strips, went to, what if there was a Morbius strip? And I don't know. You remember Morbius, the hot meme movie of however many years ago that was?
I remember him purely from the memes about the movie. Have you read any actual Morbius comics?
He's in a lot of Spider-Man comics, but you couldn't pay me to watch a movie with Jared Leto in it.
Yeah, same.
And
so,
I'm not counting Fight Club because he gets beat up in that one.
He does. Oh, it felt so nice destroying something so beautiful.
But we don't condone violence. And a fantastic reference. No. It's like, you know, that's one of my favorite jokes that I ever made in one of the Hormones memes. It was like, she's a 10, but she plays guitar in Hormones, and her comfort movie is Fight Club.
Oh, speaking of 10s, tell me about your outfit, you 10.
Oh, what a segue! Oh, you know how to gas me up. Oh my God. Today, the air conditioner, Seanny, is still broken. So I'm in another summer girl outfit. And I'm wearing this top that I bought. Remember on my birthday when we went on our shopping trip in the city, we went to the comic shop. We also did a little stop in at TK Maxx. And I bought this then. It looks like two singlets, but it's really just one singlet and an illusory singlet.
Wow, I forgot that it had the illusory. I just thought you were wearing two singlets. It's doing its job.
In this weather, never. And with the bra underneath, I got more straps than I got brain cells left.
Well, you're strapped in and ready to go for the episode, it sounds like.
I've been doing nothing interesting except doing this podcast, and I want to get straight into these ridiculous dinosaur issues. How about you?
Me too. I'm always down to talk about dinosaurs, so let's do it.
Today we're reading 4 issues. First off, Seanny, we're going to the Savage Land. We've read 3 issues set in the Savage Land, X-Men 114 to 116. And as we've hinted at, things are a little strange and confusing. Would you agree?
I agree. I started reading them in a really good mood. I got more and more confused until I ended so confused that a Chuck-centric episode was like the light on a cloudy day.
I agree. That episode is going to be not that episode, that issue is going to be a real palate cleanser once we get to it. But first,
Big time.
we got to brave the wilds of the Savage Land and the wilds of Chris Claremont's pen in X-Men 114 to 116. Let's go! In X-Men 114, it's the day the X-Men died. We open on Hank McCoy, who carries Jean alone through the freezing storm of the Antarctic wastes. Thinking the two of them are surely doomed, he is stunned to see lights in the sky. A helicopter. He begs Jean to awaken and send up some kind of flare with her powers. She wakes in a mad fury and unleashes the full power of the Phoenix Force on the Antarctic surface, trying to reach Scott and the rest of the X-Men still trapped in Magneto's Antarctic base. As the helicopter approaches to save them, Hank sadly informs Jean that the X-Men are dead. The X-Men are in fact not dead. The remainder of the team emerge on the very next page from beneath the ground, finding themselves in a tropical paradise hidden within the Antarctic surface. Scott informs them that this is the Savage Land, a prehistoric oasis lost to time. Banshee and Storm fly into the air to survey their surroundings when Sean Cassidy is captured in the talons of a pterosaur. After a fastball special hurls Wolverine at the beast, Banshee is freed, and the team head towards a village that the flying X-Men spotted from the sky. But a mysterious figure follows them. Jean and Hank, meanwhile, return to the X-Mansion, where Jean must inform Chuck that the X-Men are dead. We then cut to the X-Men living their best lives in the Savage Land village and being treated as locals. Scott ruminates to himself that he's shocked he isn't mourning Jean as he shaves off the beard that he's grown during their travels in a stream. He sees the reflection of Corsair staring back at him in the water. Before he can ponder this further, Aurora scolds Scott for not mourning Jean's death enough before heading off for a swim alone. The remainder of the team see a lightning bolt erupting from the ground, and knowing that this means Storm must be in danger, they seek her out to find her in the clutches of Sauron, the man who is also a dinosaur. I'm going to be real with you, Shawnee, before I get into the next two issues. These three issues were so bonkers that I forgot a lot of that stuff happened in the first of the three of them.
The entire storyline forgets that happened, so don't worry.
We don't have time to stress about any of that. We've got Sauron to deal with, and without hesitation, Wolverine launches into battle against Sauron, unaware of his ability to hypnotize others upon eye contact. Sauron convinces Wolverine that the other X-Men are walking nightmares, and he attacks them. Cyclops blasts Wolverine with an optic blast and sends Banshee in the air after him. Wolverine doesn't know what's up and returns to attack Slim, believing that he is a slime monster attacking the woman who doesn't love him, Jean Grey. Scott sends him flying with another octave blast, and he and Banshee turn their powers on either side of Sauron to overwhelm him. After attempting to drain power from Colossus, Sauron finds himself face to face with Wolverine, who has realized that the prehistoric beast was playing games with his head because Jean is dead. Just as Wolverine is about to pop his claws, he is stopped by Kazar, Lord of the Savage Land, who declares Sauron his friend. Kazar informs the X-Men that he was on the way to see them as he needs their help. After an incredibly long exposition, we learn that it's very long. It's actually more than half this
pages.
issue. Okay, it's not more than half this issue, but it feels like it.
Yeah, it does.
We learn that the High Priestess Zaladane has resurrected her people's god, Garrock, the Petrified Man, the Sun God. They are forcing all the residents of the Savage Land to move into a great metropolis they have built and killing all who oppose. Wolverine is eager to help, but Cyclops declares that their duty is to the Professor, and they must get out of the Savage Land to see if Magneto has survived to attack him. Wolverine is not impressed by the prospect of the X-Men bugging out once again. As the X-Men move to leave the Savage Land via its great river, they come to find the exit completely frozen. The ecological balance of the Savage Land has been upset by the Sun God's actions, and this could mean death for the Savage Land itself. The stakes are incredibly high in
Oh,
all the
wow.
things that have happened in just 6 or so pages of this issue. And I hope you are ready for more confusion. To everybody listening at home, it's probably apparent these were not our favorite issues, and we have been roasting them in our text messages all week. I just want you to know, I still love the X-Men, but they
Still
can't all be
love them.
gems.
No, and there is plenty of great moments in these issues, but you're all going to find out.
Anyone coming in who hasn't read these 3 issues and is trying to listen to the synopsis I've written is like, what is she talking about? Fran often listens to me from the other room recording my notes because I always speech to text my notes into my iPad. She's like, I have no concept of what you were saying with these issues. The X-Men have hiked with Kazar across ice-coated and treacherous mountain trails to find themselves at the city of the sun god. They are quickly ambushed by the Petrified Man's air force, soldiers riding pterosaurs. In the battle, Scott, Peter, Sean, and Kazar are captured by the dinosaur riders, leaving Aurora and Kurt behind with Logan to rescue them. Wolverine leads his teammates into the depths of the city, using his stealth and tracking skills to lead them to a grand arena in the heart of the citadel. They see their friends in the midst of a ritual sacrifice, with Colossus tied to a burning stake in his armored form, and the others tied up, awaiting a similar fate. Kurt teleports in, removing a shield from Cyclops' visor and unleashing his eye beams to free Colossus. This in turn frees all the other X-Men and creates a grand scuffle with the Sun God's warriors. Garrock, who has become weakened by creating this grand city, somehow flees for the roof with Slim in hot pursuit. As he recharges his powers from the force of the geothermal heat sink that warms the Savage Land, Scott unleashes his eye blast and locks them in a deadly standoff of power blasts as their friends continue to do battle beneath them in the arena. I say their friends, I should say Scott's friends. They're not Garrock's friends, whatever. Keep it in.
He never gave him a chance.
Yeah, they could have been friends. And they do try to save him. In the chaos, the building gives way, with Cyclops and the Petrified Man plummeting towards certain death. Banshee saves Cyclops, but Storm is unable to rescue Garrock from the fall due to her claustrophobia, and she returns to the surface empty-handed and distraught. A month later, the Savage Land is thawed, and the X-Men leave with a heartfelt goodbye, finding themselves on the open sea and immediately thrust into a raging storm. And scene on
Well done.
the most confusing story we have read so far.
The most convoluted synopsis you've had to write. Well done.
I have more ups here than I expected, but they're probably going to be
Me
all
too.
very niche and specific because, you know me, I'm a glass half full kind of girl, and I'm an optimist, and I like to like things. It's cool to like things.
It is, and you've definitely infected me with that. So, do you want to talk about some things we liked about these issues?
Let's get into the ups. Thank God I shaved my armpits. Okay. People on audio will be like, I thought she always shaved her armpits. Don't assume that about me. I do. But I don't have to. I do it because I want to, and it makes me feel good. But if you don't want to shave your armpits, you don't have to.
That's right. You can have hairy pits if you want. You're still beautiful.
This is an empowerment podcast.
Damn right.
What are we talking about? Let's get into the ups. X-Men 114, probably my favorite cover so far. Just stunning artwork. We've got Jean, Hank, and Chuck looking miserable in the darkness of their mansion, heads hung, while the ghosts of the rest of the X-Men loom behind them. Stunning, and it's a shame the issue isn't about that at all.
Not at all. And when... You're right. I like that started as well with favorite cover, Chuck in misery. You could have put a stop there.
Seeing Chuck miserable. It's what makes me so happy.
But I agree. I really like this cover. Let me piggyback onto that because I think the art in this first issue, you know what? All the art that takes place in the Savage Land, I love it. You know what Seanny loves in video games? when you've got like jungly, foresty levels. I love those environments. I'm talking like Mario, Sonic, Kirby, Banjo-Kazooie. They've always been my favorite places to explore and immerse myself in. And the Savage Land is...
Turok Dinosaur Hunter.
Turok Dinosaur Hunter? Yes, of course. It's like if there's dinosaurs involved, then it's even better. I really like how all the scenery has been illustrated here with the big lush ferns and vines and the bright blue waters of the rivers and the little pops of pink that come through and like little flowers, like little like lizards and stuff that are around. It's just a place I want to be, and it makes me happy to be here.
Across these issues, some scenes that I think look absolutely beautiful, like the big splash pages of the Savage Land that we see, the big imposing citadel once Khazar's brought them to the top of the mountains to look over the city is fantastic. And even though John Byrne is a big stupid idiot, we got to give him credit where it's due. I really love this opening page as well of 114, where we have Frost completely covering Beast's fur with the unconscious Jean in his arms, and the story titled Desolation. And this might be, I'm not sure whether this would come from John Byrne himself or from the letterer. The title of that issue is Desolation, and it's really tied into the snow at the bottom of that page. So there's a lot of really great stuff that we're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do. The way the snow sticks to Beast's fur, like he's caked in it, you can really tell that he's been like struggling and walking for a really long time. It's beautiful. Environmentally, this is some really strong stuff.
I don't love all the art in this story, as I'm going to get into later on, but
agreed.
Credit where it's due. Like the scenes where Burns seemed to actually care about the story, the artwork looks really good. It's like he put all his stat points into like those couple of pages across this story. I don't feel like anybody was very invested in this story, but we're not doing downs, we're being positive.
That's it. You got another up for me?
I actually think that scene where Jean awakens and desperately tries to get to Scott with the Phoenix powers is quite moving. And it leads to this long distance shot of Hank holding her and telling her that the X-Men are dead. Like it's a long distance sort of thing, and we see their silhouettes in the helicopter lights. It's like that whole page that as it leads up there is very cinematic, and that storytelling is really helping me feel the emotion. And there's a few good scenes like that across these issues. Similarly, the scene in the third issue where Aurora is trying to save Garrock from the fall, like after the building collapses, and it's very dark and claustrophobic as she's going down into this geothermal pit as she's trying to get him. And it's a similar kind of thing. We feel the emotion from the scenery around us, and as she comes back out, like we see a close-up of her like looking miserable with this tear dropping from her eye as like the other X-Men kind of look on from a distance. So those sorts of scenes where the artwork is being used to convey the emotion, I've done a great effect in this story in the couple of little scenes where it's been deemed necessary, I suppose.
Yes, absolutely. That scene of Storm in particular was one of my ups, because to spoil some of my downs for later, it comes after some scenes that I'm less enthusiastic about, but the page of Storm like diving down the chasm, trying to save Garrock as he falls, it's framed so beautifully. The panels are split up vertically, so you really see the progression of her diving down, and you can feel the tension of her getting closer and closer. And when she fails and has to come back to the surface, I really love, we get a rare moment of Logan with some emotional understanding, because Banshee goes to celebrate that she's all right, but Logan clocks that she's come back empty-handed and tells Banshee to give her some space because she needs it. I really liked that. There's a lot of really nice Logan moments in this issue.
Yeah, if I can piggyback off that, I feel like at the start of the third issue, so that's 116, where Scott's being captured and it's up to Wolverine to sort of lead them into the city. We get a whole bunch of great Wolverines as he sort of becomes the stand-in leader for Storm and Kurt, who are there, because he's the one who has the skills to get them into this facility. Storm has the skills to get them into this facility. She's a professional thief, but I digress. It wasn't important to the story. We get Wolverine, who is very gruff with humans, being very affectionate towards Kazar's pet saber-toothed tiger, and comes over.
I love
this overlooked power of his that he's able to communicate with animals.
Canon, he can talk to big cats.
Yeah. He brings the tiger close, he pats it, and he kindly sends off for reinforcement, but he's been a real jerk for the last couple of issues. The second Scott isn't around, Storm tells him, there's more to you than meets the eye, and he goes, at my size, babe, that ain't hard. Like, little sense of humor.
Little self-deprecating joke. You're right. It is because Scott's not here, so he feels like he can chill out a bit more.
But then the very next thing we see him doing is, like, they get into the citadel, they spot this sentry who's guarding, and Kurt says he'll teleport in and take him out, but Wolverine says, no thanks, this guy's mine. And we get this great reaction shot of Storm and Kurt grimacing and Kurt saying, mein Gott, as Wolverine has, again, definitely killed that guy.
He's killed that guy.
Marvel won't admit that Wolverine has killed that guy. They didn't want to admit that he had killed people for a long time, but that is absolutely what he's doing.
There are two moments across these issues where Wolverine has suddenly been amped up. It's like the writers have realized, like, oh yeah, this dude's hands are knives. We should do something really brutal with that. So one is him absolutely
I know what you're
killing
gonna
this
do.
guard. And the other one is, look, this is an X, but I'm going to have to jump into it because we're there. When Banshee is captured by that pterodactyl, Logan tears into it and we see blood and flesh and viscera. And I guess because it's a dinosaur and it's got like black blood. So they're like, oh no, it's more monstery. It's less human. But this is the first time we've seen like Wolverine impact in a significant way in his claws. And it feels like we just bumped up from a PG to an M15 plus.
Not the one I thought you were going to talk about, but I'll get to that after. I think this gives us an interesting insight into Wolverine's code, is that we've had issues before him saying that he wouldn't go out of his way to hunt a doe, right? But if he sees an animal as a threat to him or his people, if the animal attacks first, the gloves are off, right? So like his code is that if something else is coming for him, he'll do what needs to be done, but otherwise he'll let the animal be. And the one I thought you were going to do, which is another great scene that comes straight after he kills the sentry, is there's this dinosaur that tries to bite off Wolverine's hand. He snicks his claws inside the dinosaur's mouth, and the dinosaur just lets go and flops off. This whole scene of them sneaking into the city is so great, because we get a callback also to Valhalla, where they use Storm's powers to flood the base and wash everything else out. Yeah. And she references it and uses that to wash all the dinosaurs out of this tunnel. We love a callback. What's your next up?
All right, we're jumping all around the place. I'm going to dial us right back to the first issue. And this isn't up, but it starts with a down, because I'm really disappointed in Scott's lack of emotions about Jean being dead as far as he knows. Because he tells Storm that after the shuttle flight, she wasn't the girl that he loved anymore. And Storm has the best response to this when she says, perhaps it was simply that she was no longer a girl, as you are no longer a boy. If you wanted to preserve the Jean that was like a fly in amber, perhaps what you felt for her wasn't love at all. And I just love, because we complained about the manufactured drama between Scott and Jean in the previous issues that we read. And this is such a beautiful way for Storm to just call out the book and defend her friend at the same time.
This exchange was next in my ups as well. Scott saying out loud that he's not mourning her because she hasn't been the same since the shuttle flight. Firstly, Scott's a weird guy. I believe it. But
Yeah.
he's processing like all this PTSD, right? So I'm giving him a sort of weird pass about having weird feelings about Jean dying because
Yeah.
she's proven already that she has survived a solar storm and basically been able to bring herself back to life. Why would he ever actually believe
That's right.
that she's dead? And I think this isn't necessarily what's written on the page, but like my belief here is that like there's probably part of him that knows that. I like the way it's depicted through Scott's real, like emotionally repressed, I don't know how to feel like about this kind of personality, but Aurora, who says what she thinks and feels things so strongly, pulling him up on it with such a powerful turn of phrase is something that I really love as well. I think this exchange gives us a lot of insight into both characters. I'm not necessarily saying anything Scott's saying here is right, but I think it's an interesting take on how he would process something like this.
That's really true. And that's an interesting point that you bring up about that, because I could see that being the reason that I was trying to work out why Scott was so blasé about this. And part of me thought that maybe because he and Jean are linked in such a way, psychically as well, because of her powers, that he could maybe somehow sense that she wasn't dead. And I really thought that that's where the story was going with it. So when they didn't really clock it as that, I thought like, okay, maybe that's the subtext or whatever, but I like your reasoning about it.
These issues feel so rushed that if they bit off more than they could chew with everything they wanted to do in their story. So I just think there's all this great stuff that we could have had time for, but we didn't get to spend time with any of it. And that's part of the problem. Like, we get some nice character moments with Storm through these issues. We get her being reflecting on her life in the big city and how she's so glad that she gets to have a swim and looks so happy and beautiful bursting out of the water and relaxing on the shore and thinking the air's so clean in the savage land, unlike in New York. She says this thing to herself that's like, Scott says it's the smell of progress. Yeah. But why would progress make the air smell like an open sewer or something? I can't remember the exact thing she says, but something like that. Aurora is so powerful, but her being finally able to relax and unwind actually makes it a little more believable to me that, you know, a deadbeat like Sauron would be able to creep up from behind and suck a mutant power out of her to transform because she's just so thrilled to be back in nature. I've given a lot of grace here.
That's it. And the grace needs to be given because I was reading this being like, you can't sneak up on Storm like this and just do this to her. But I think you're right. She was distracted because for once she was just having a chill, happy time.
Yeah.
Speaking about Sauron, when he popped up, I hoped that he was the guy from that Spider-Man meme that was going around a while ago. There was just that one panel where Spider-Man's in front of a big pterodactyl guy and Spider-Man says, you can rewrite DNA on the fly and you're using it to turn people into dinosaurs. But with tech like that, you could cure cancer. And Sauron says, but I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs. And I was thrilled. I was thrilled that this was that guy.
If I'm remembering right, I think that panel comes from a little mini-series they did in the 2010s called Spider-Man and the X-Men, which takes place after Wolverine dies. And so Spider-Man comes in to teach, like, his classes at the school. It's a weird little mini-series, but it's, I don't know, the meme has outlived it, I think.
And reading that panel isolated, I'm like, I'm sure in the context of this story, that line isn't as funny as what it's reading as, but I just love it so much.
It is probably that funny. I haven't read it since it came out. That's like, if I'm wrong, surely somebody in the comments will be like, actually...
Please, when we give you permission to actually jump on it.
Yeah, they told us everything we got wrong about Warhammer already, so shout out to the comment section.
I was shamed thoroughly. I knew as soon as I dared claim anything about Warhammer that I was walking into the Viper's nest.
They were super polite, the person who commented that, though. They even started with, not to actually
Thank you.
Thank you. That's sweet.
Thank you.
You know, we do research, but then I just think of things I want to talk about and they're not researched. So, YOLO.
That's it.
I have only 2 ups for the second issue because I hated it. You ready for them?
Lay them on me.
Number 1, I like the illustrations of the nightmare creatures that Wolverine sees under the mind control just because
Me too.
it's John Byrne channeling his inner Dave Cockrum.
Yeah, he is. They're all goopy and ghoulish.
There's so many moments across these issues where I'm like, Cockrum would have cooked on this.
I know.
I miss Cockrum's scenery, okay? Like...
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
He proved that he was really good at scenery in particular. Or the Krakoa environments in Giant Size X-Men. Like, he's proven that he can do this stuff. So seeing him do it now with all the experience he's had since then would have been so good.
My second one, and it's a really stupid one because it's such a dumb moment in the story, is just a cute little moment of Kurt breaking through Logan's tough exterior. Because the second they find snow all over the frozen river, Kurt throws a snowball at Logan, and Logan says, "Elf, you just pushed the magic button. Loser buys the beer." Very cute. Totally inappropriate for the moment. Kazar's like, "Stop playing, you fools. Don't you realize what's happening?" I don't know. We love it when men are friends.
It's cute when men are friends. Their first instinct is not like, oh, a geological disaster. They're like, sweet, snowball fight time.
Just acted like a couple of New Yorkers. Neither of whom are from New York.
Speaking of the very Canadian Wolverine, he calls Sauron a bargain basement Rodan. And Seanny is always going to appreciate when a Godzilla monster gets brought up.
This is in my X's because... Wolverine's like 1 million years old. It stands to the reason that he's seen a couple of Godzilla movies, right? But with the
he would love Godzilla movies.
But the characterization of Wolverine that we've seen so far, is he the dude who's making pop culture references?
No. Maybe he's a total film bro.
I see why this isn't up for you, but this stood out like a sore thumb for me. I could see Kurt saying something like this because we know he's into movies.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's right. Actually, that would have been the right person to say it. Hey, I think Claremont just loves throwing in a pop culture reference. Like, we had Misty Knight calling out the Star Trek teleporter effect.
It's this weird thing that pops up for Gambit in like recent comics that he's apparently just read a lot of sci-fi. Because he just keeps mentioning, like, plot points from Dune and stuff. And it's happened, like, a handful of times across the last decade. And I'm like, this is a weird addition to his character, but I kind of like it. I only think of it because I was reading an issue of Gail Simone's current run on Uncanny the other day, and he made a Dune reference. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember. He did that back on Marjorie Liu's run on Astonishing, like, however many years ago. I'd like to say this is going to be a thing that pops up for Wolverine, that he has seen a lot of Godzilla movies and keeps talking about them, but I don't think it is. Happy to be wrong.
If he only references Godzilla movies specifically, wouldn't that be so good for his character?
It would be so good for his character. Okay, I got an up. It's called When They Light Colossus on Fire and He Gets Red Hot because he's been sitting in flames for how long and they don't know how long he's going to hold up and neither does he. But then he gets set free and we see him still red hot, running around the background of all these panels, just wailing on the guards while he's still glowing red, and it's really funny.
It's really fun. It is a really nice highlight when the story really starts to take a dive for me. So
excellent. Any more ups?
Yes, I have one last up for these issues because it is my boyfriend, the brave Kurt, yet again trying an extremely dangerous teleporting stunt with no regard to his personal safety if it has any chance of saving his friends. Logan asks him if he can teleport to the center of the arena, And Kurt thinks to himself, I've never teleported that far. It could leave me weak as a kitten in his speech bubble. But then immediately afterwards in his talking bubble, he says, watch me. No hesitation. He's so brave and I love him.
That's so good. I just want to give my last up is a little shout out to Claremont, who over the last few issues that we've read just hasn't been getting his pops in, right? We haven't been getting that gorgeous prose that we love from our boys so much. And he manages to take this battle between Scott and Garrock, which is just them blasting each other. And he writes, the battle rages like a conflagration as each man probes the other's defenses for a weak spot that will give him victory. Cyclops draws his strength from within himself, the petrified man from his metropolis's massive generators. The question soon becomes, which will reach his upper limits first? Where have you been, Christopher? I have missed you.
Yes, and he came back at the exact right time. And he pulls out the big guns exactly when it's needed. Now that we've been so positive, how would you like to get a bit with me?
I would love that. Let's get down. Can I be perfectly honest with you, Seanny?
I would want you to be nothing more.
I cared about these issues so little that I barely wrote any downs because I don't think I cared enough to hate them. I have a few.
I got you covered, so you can just piggyback off mine.
The downs are mainly that they're bad issues, so shall I fly through a couple of the downs I have?
Let's hear it.
Claremont always just wants to get to the next thing, so we entirely miss everything that should be happening with the X-Men to escape the base, just to have them arrive in the Savage Land. So it takes the wind out of the sails of this whole storyline, since we just move on so quickly from Jean mourning the death of the X-Men. Oh no, the X-Men are dead. I feel so emotional. It's this beautiful page I talked about. I turn the page over and there are the X-Men just popping out of the tunnel and they're all fine. We don't get to see the escape. We don't get to see Storm grappling with the claustrophobia of coming through the tunnels. It gets mentioned like in one speech bubble.
Very
we just
briefly.
see them rock up. So their Savage Land splash page is stunning. It's beautiful, but oh my God, like, let me feel something.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, that's the name of the game with all of these issues, is that we just like keep going from thing to thing to thing. There's not enough time to feel any way about anything because we're in the Savage Land for a little bit. Sauron's there. He shows up. He's going to be a villain, but not really because he's benched because now we've got to deal with the Garrock, the sun god, and he's resurrected a city in the place of what's his name? Who's the owner of the big cat?
Kazar.
Kazar. Okay, sorry, Kazar. Also, you're in these issues, but you don't do anything.
I thought you were going to ask me what's the name of the guy who gets strapped to a ritual slab and turned into as Kirk Marston, I think.
I know who that is because I have a big diatribe I'm going to read about that whole bit.
Perfect. I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, I love my boyfriend Scott Summers.
Always.
Him pulling up Wolverine for being risky about killing the dinosaur is so silly. Banshee would have definitely been killed if Wolverine hadn't been hurled at the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Wolverine has never experienced any physical harm in the entire comic as we've read yet, because like his powers aren't clearly defined yet. This is just Scott being a wet blanket. He saved your boy, Slim.
That's right. Even Banshee has a line, doesn't he, where he's like, okay, we don't need to argue about the way that he saved my life. The point is that he did.
But then he immediately calls Wolverine a shrimp while he says that.
He does!
So nobody's coming out on top here. Hey, don't you tell the shrimp for that. He saved me. That big stupid idiot, he saved my life.
I owe that dummy everything.
That little, tiny, minuscule, hairy man with the ugly face. He saved my life.
Hey, while
Danny DeVito over here.
Oh my God. All right. Well, while we're dunking on Logan, I got something to say about Logan. Because Logan continues to pine for Jean, and Seanny continues to hate it.
Just repulsed.
Oh, he's looking at a photo of her, which also, I like this detail, but Jesus Christ. It's clearly a photo of Jean and Scott that he's ripped Scott out of. Where did he get this photo? And he says to it, "Babe, you were the first person I ever really cared for. I had plans for us, Jeannie."
Ugh.
I don't know the tone they're going for with this subplot, but Logan is so entitled every time that I have no sympathy for him.
He's just got such gross, like, incel, like, nice guy energy.
Yes! And to that point, like, before this moment happens, Peter has rocked up with two of the local village ladies and asks if Logan wants to come hang out with them. And Logan turns him down because he'd rather wallow in his unrequited misery. Complete incel behavior.
I had this here too, because, like, Peter turns up, he's taking two gorgeous, like, prehistoric ladies. They're taking him to a private island.
He says, they want to show me their special island.
The plans for us stuff is such a creep, but, like, good on Petey for getting to be a little horn dog with the dino ladies, all right?
About time.
About time. He's left Russia. He's finally starting to enjoy himself.
That's it, but Logan's having no bar of it.
Ugh. Plans for us.
Plans? What? Your plans are going to shoot pool at the gross bar.
Speaking about Jane, I really wish we got the issue that was promised on the cover. My favorite issues are the ones where it's like the X-Men talking about feelings at the mansion, right?
Yeah.
We have this cover that promises Hank, Jean, and Chuck coping with the deaths of the X-Men, and we get exactly one page of this. We get a page of them arriving, and then a page of Jean talking to Chuck, and we get this silent last panel. It's nothing.
Nothing.
I wanted that issue.
Imagine if that was just sort of threaded through these issues. That'd be such a nice emotional point to return to. And it would make the fourth issue that we're reading a lot more impactful as well, because it continues on from that.
Yeah. What's your next down?
Okay. There is a moment within these issues that will forever be known as the Great Exposition Dump of 115, where it contains 6.5 pages of convoluted setup just to take us to the next issue, so that I have absolutely no emotional stakes invested in the next part of the story, because all you did was tell me how invested I should be about it. So to go through it beat by beat, Karl Lycos, who is Sauron, the human form of Sauron when he's not being a pterodactyl monster, tells us he stumbled upon a priestess named Zaladine who was fulfilling an ancient prophecy called the Time of Apotheosis on behalf of the sun god Garrock, in which some guy named Kurt Marston is transformed into a being known as the Petrified Man, who is the physical embodiment of Garrock. And then Zaladan shows him Khazar's city, and the Petrified Man is like, "This futuristic alien city is an abomination to the land. I will wipe it from existence and immediately build my own futuristic city here." His ultimate goal is peace, but everyone who refuses to live in the city is put to death. And I'm reading through all of this, and I'm just thinking, like, remember when Sauron was on this cover?
The covers really did not deliver what they promised. Because this whole exposition tears us away from any actual excitement of what's happening with the X-Men.
Yeah.
Because our writers have become so interested in this world that they want to play in that we get this big long recap of what Sauron's been up to since we last saw him in the 60s, which nobody bought those comics, so nobody reading this issue really cares what he's been up to. And we are exposed to this entire cast of characters that I have zero investment in. It's like we spent the first issue not introducing any of this, so the second issue has to be set up, It's like if you introduced all your plot points an hour into the movie and then have to fart it all out in the last half hour.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Which I also love Disney's Hercules, but yeah.
Zinged. Oh my God.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Ditto.
That's why I have hardly anything to say about 115, because it just bored me senseless. And I actually enjoyed 116. Like, it's a ridiculous, insane issue, but this tonal whiplash of what's going on and it moves so quickly, I'm like, oh my God, I've been banging for this.
Yeah. The 115 does not go the distance. Remember how I said Shawnee loves jungle levels in video games?
I'm going to be honest with you, Shawnee, and to all our listeners at home. I'm aware of the names of a lot of video games and what they are on premise because of, like, friends who had them all.
Yeah.
I only really know about Pokemon and Tony Hawk. And I 100%ed that Marvel Spider-Man game on PS4 during COVID. That's it.
Oh, well done. Well done.
That's my video game literacy.
That's the trifecta. That's really all you need, because I feel like everything else is just derivative of those three anyway.
Sorry to derail you.
That's fine. That's fine. So, Shawnee loves jungle levels in video games, but you know what I hate? It's snow levels in video games. And all that nice jungle scenery that I was talking about gets a huge dump of snow on it at the end of 115. And now I don't even get to enjoy jungle scenery for the rest of the story.
Aww.
It's not interesting to look at, and I don't think John Byrne draws it very well. It's great at the start when he's got like Beast going through the snow and everything, but it all just makes for a really bland setting around what is a bland city that they're breaking into.
GoldenEye had snow in it.
GoldenEye had snow in it, and you know what? I don't like that level. People in the comments, comment if you think there is a snow level that is better than any other level in the game. I challenge you.
I wish I could help. I'm video game illiterate. Can I call out my boyfriend one more time?
Yeah, go on.
Cyclops is being so lame, saying they gotta get out of the Savage Land so they can go help Chuck. He's their first priority.
Oh, yeah.
That's like him saying, this storyline is also boring and confusing to me. Let's go back to our regularly scheduled issue. So I kind of would have liked them to get out of the Savage Land for that reason, but still, lame. There's a whole people suffering. I don't care if Chuck gets off.
That's so true. And this diversion is pointless because they end up helping them immediately anyway.
Wolverine, way too eager to get involved with what's going on in the Savage Land, and very upset with Cyclops making him bug out again. Just, this man. He's loyal. And unfortunately, he is loyal to Chuck. Both those guys. I don't know. That's all my downs.
Well, I'm so
I didn't
sorry.
write any downs for the third issue. That doesn't mean it was a perfect issue.
You didn't get any downs for the next issue?
I was just really excited to have events.
Oh, okay. Well, I've only got a few, but I do have one more down for this issue as well. And
Go on, then.
I'm sorry it's about your boyfriend, but it's not his fault. Because when the X-Men are escaping from the arena, Garrock legs it and Scott chases after him. And what we're treated to is an entire page of Scott running up various stairs, thinking thoughts to himself. At the climax of this story, chasing down the villain, and Claremont is working so hard to try and make these scenes interesting. It's basically Scott summarizing, thinking yet more exposition, being like, I bet Garrock's going up there to charge himself up. But he's running up so many stairs. There's a bit where he literally just says, boy, there sure are a lot of stairs. I thought I was in shape, but I'm getting winded. It doesn't add tension. It just slows the pace right down.
It's just having a labyrinth moment, like at the end of Labyrinth. How you turn my world, you precious thing.
They should have.
I move the stars for no one.
You run so
that's
long,
that's
you
a
run
banger.
So far. I can live within you.
That two best songs in Labyrinth.
Oh, yeah,
Within
that and
You.
Underground.
No. I love Underground too. But
Yeah.
As the World Falls Down from
it's
the
good.
dream
It's good.
sequence where they're at the
Yeah.
ball, banger.
Fun bit of Shawnee lore. When I want to say I would have been like 19, a friend of ours had an 80s themed birthday and they hired my band at the time to play. And they were like, oh, what 80s songs do you want us to learn? And she said, just play all your songs. All I want to hear is Within You. So we learned
That's a
that.
crazy pick.
It's crazy pick. I was overjoyed.
It's just stops and starts. You got a
It
little
is.
Beth
It
lore?
was terrible to play for a band of 19-year-olds. But yes, tell me the Beth lore.
When me and my sister were little, my auntie used to babysit us. It was like every couple of months or something. And the only video she would bring over to watch ever was Labyrinth.
Hell
And-
yeah.
I was like, I'm talking like, I'm like 3, 4, 5, 6 years old.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And,
Okay.
Like, Stephanie and I have probably seen Labyrinth 1,000,000 times because we watched it every time she babysat us. I don't remember ever watching another movie when she did.
Do you need another movie? It's got
So
everything.
I probably know it off by heart.
I have clocked it in your background, so I know it's a special movie for you.
Oh, yeah, it's back there somewhere. Oh, it's right. Yeah, it's right next to Muppets Take Manhattan.
Of course. Do you need any other two movies in your life?
Look, can I... one more story before we get to the X's.
Let's do it.
Muppets Take Manhattan is not on streaming. It's not on Disney+. When I used to drink, if I had a few too many drinks, I used to get in the complaints email of Disney+ and threaten them to put Muppets Take Manhattan on to Disney+. Now, you might think, Elizabeth, this sounds like ridiculous behavior. Except I used to do the same thing to SBS On Demand about putting Margaret and David, the movie show, on SBS On Demand. And guess what they put on SBS On Demand? Because I emailed them about 500 times and they finally did it.
Oh my
And
God.
it was all me and my really strange drinking habits.
The system works.
I don't have Disney Plus anymore. Boycott. So I don't know
Yeah,
if Muppets
same.
Take Manhattan ever made it on.
Yeah.
But I
couldn't.
still got SBS On Demand, baby.
The point
Best streaming network in the country.
The point is we have Margaret and David, and you can thank Beth for that.
You're welcome. Anyway, it's time for the X's.
With that complete X of a lore drop.
This is my favorite episode. X gon' give it to you. Let's do it. X gon' deliver to you. Let's go. I want you to do X gon' give it to you, then the X's, and then I say X gon' deliver to you.
It's gonna deliver to you, and you just sort of trailing off.
People love to make fun of Claremont for throwing the leprechauns in there a few issues ago because that seems so silly. But everyone just takes for granted that the Savage Land is a regular location in X-Men stories, a secret oasis in the heart of Antarctica where dinosaurs roam the earth. Everyone is fine with this. Just thought I'd mention it.
Okay, yeah. Now I need to ask you about the Savage Land because me coming into this having read none of the previous encounters with the Savage Land, when the X-Men busted out of that cave, I thought somehow they had traveled back in time. And we were going to get some wacky story about them having to return to the future. But no, it's just a place that Scott's like, this place again.
Yeah, they've been there before. That Kazar was like, I'm looking for Scott. Sauron's like, I know Scott from the X-Men.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't know
hey,
his name's Scott, but
We're there. There's dinosaurs here. I'm sort of a dinosaur myself.
it's the place to be for him, I guess.
So, like, speaking of my man Sauron, we gotta call it out. Because as far as I have encountered, there are only 2 characters in popular media named Sauron. One is an omnipotent evil sorcerer of apocalyptic power, and the other is a pterodactyl werewolf. And that's just really funny to me.
Do you reckon it's because he's a dinosaur, S-A-U-R, and they just added O-N to make a name?
Sauron! Oh my god.
Like, whoever did it, like, I don't know. It's clearly got to be a reference, right? I don't know if there's, like, that name, like, Tolkien maybe got it from, like, mythology or something. I don't know.
I did a little research on this.
Oh, girl, you are a professional unlike me.
Well, I mean, the only research I did, because I had to look up, I'm like, how often are we using this Sauron name? Because I have never encountered it before. It turning up here is a really weird sticking out point. And apparently in the original 60s run, Carl Lycos does have a reference that he named the pterodactyl form of himself after the Tolkien character.
Why though?
I didn't get that far. He's a bad dude. You know what? He clearly thinks a lot of himself. He's like, that pterodactyl is so evil. I might as well be Sauron. And I strive for that confidence, you know?
That's it. That's how bad I am. I'm big evil. That's a callback to when we were off the air. Me talking about The Undertaker off the air. Scott realizing that Corsair might be his father when he's shaving off his beard into a mustache and looking at his reflection is the most patently X-Men thing I could possibly imagine. This is when it dawns on you. Then he's like, hey, he had a Nebraska twang in his accent. And hey, he knew my real name. It's ridiculous, but I wouldn't expect it to happen any other way in the X-Men.
No.
And then he swiftly forgets about it the second Storm talks to him.
He starts having all kinds of flashbacks about him and his brother being pushed out of a plane and flashes of his mother and stuff. Storm interrupts him and he says, no, the memories, they're gone. So I guess we're just done with that.
Yeah. It's like, I'll remember it eventually.
We'll get there eventually the next time I shave my face.
He's just completely forgotten. Oh, hey, I looked a little bit like Corsair when I shaved because he had a conversation. Really?
Catch Scott participating in Movember and he looks into the mirror and he's like, wait a minute. Ah, the memories!
Sauron says that he senses power as great as Storm's when he sneaks up on Colossus. What planet are you living on, brother?
Thank you. Thank you. Because that was one of my exes too. And you know what? I deleted it and I shouldn't have because I was worried I was going to get like a torrent of people going like, actually, Storm's an Omega level mutant and Colossus counts as an Omega level for the following reasons. But like, you think Colossus approaches Storm's power? No.
I want to clarify that Seanny is not impersonating any member of our fan base.
Not a member of our fan base.
She is just talking about random TikTok commenters that may pop up every now and then.
That's right. You people who correct me or inform me in a nice way, I love ya.
We love our audience.
Love ya. Mwah.
I'm cracking up every time during the big long exposition scene that Banshee's just smoking this corncob pipe. He's just got this corncob pipe hanging out of his mouth the whole time they're having their little exposition sit-in with Khazar and Sauron. Because they got to convey that he's old, I guess.
The funny thing about his pipe too is that when the X-Men have had their little time jump, they've been hanging out in the Savage Land, they're hanging out in the village, all of their clothes have they just don't want to wear their superhero outfits, I guess. So they're all getting around in like loincloths and stuff. But Banshee has managed to source a corncob pipe from somewhere. So he either brought it with him for their fight against Magneto or he spent this time whittling one. But he's like, priorities. People gotta know I'm over 45.
That's my guess. He's in his 40s, maybe?
Maybe.
Okay. Scott asks Garrock how he could have built the city so fast, to which he responds, when you are a god, my friend, all things are possible. That's just them saying, don't worry about it. And I think that's a very refreshing take on exposition after the previous issue.
Well, Yes, you're right. And what's funny about that is that he does say, when you're a god, anything's possible. He also says slave labor.
Oh.
So as part...
It's super fast, though.
It's so far. But why the slave labor line? He magicked an entire city away. They say that he shifted reality. They were riding around on flying sharks that disappeared out of the air. That was pretty cool. But no, he has to build a city from scratch with slaves so that he can have his perfect, peaceful paradise.
All that stuff with the disappearing city that gets mentioned in like a few panels of 115 comes from like another separate story that was taking place in Khazar at the time, like Khazar's own comic. And I don't know how to make sense of any of that, and I'm not going back to read those issues to find out what any of that means. Just run with it. I like that Khazar's having his little like Mac from Always Sunny. Well, first of all, through God, all things are possible, so write that down. Last one. You ready for like one of my patented Beth crash outs?
Always.
Garrock is a ridiculous character. His plan doesn't make one lick of sense whatsoever. Let's do it. His entire monologue tells us that he's seen enough death and suffering to make God himself despair, and so he's sworn to see it ended. His plan to do this is to build a giant city in the Savage Land and force everything and everyone to live in it to supposedly bring peace to the Savage Land. But meanwhile, he's built it over the geothermal heat sink that warms the Savage Land. So in doing this, he's creating death and suffering by killing the entire Savage Land. He is killing anyone who refuses to live in the city. So he is creating more death and suffering. He is also using that same power that makes the Savage Land what it is to give himself life. So bro can't even open a window, take a look outside, and seeing the death and suffering and the despair that he himself is causing. I understand that he's an ancient god, and logic probably isn't his strong suit, but he's really adamant that his end goal here is peace. And if that takes a little bit of ritual sacrifice,
gotta break a few eggs.
I had fun and I liked 116, but it's dumb and it's silly and it's comic booky, and I just had to mention it. I think we need to stop dwelling, and I think we need to read a better issue.
I think so too. Would you like to tell me about it?
Absolutely. Let's read X-Men 117. Boom! It's the saga of Professor X in Psy-War. We find the X-Men where we left them, traveling the Drake Passage from Antarctica to South America in a deadly storm. Even Storm's weather powers are unable to calm the storm around them as she has reached her limits. The X-Men, however, are sighted by a Japanese government ship on a high-security mission. Our heroes are not permitted to contact anyone via radio, and therefore they must, quote-unquote, be the guests of the ship's crew. Cut to the Xavier Mansion, where Jean must leave her old life behind now that the X-Men are dead. Lilandra considers the implications for her love, Chuck Xavier, now that his X-Men are gone, and she takes him breakfast to cheer him up. More on that later.
Oh,
Chuck is not hungry. He wonders what would have happened if he'd never formed the X-Men at all and let them live in peace, so his memory takes him back to the beginning. Many years ago, Charles and Moira McTaggart were deeply in love when he was suddenly drafted into the Korean War. While in a battlefield hospital recovering from wounds, he received a letter from Moira breaking their engagement. This led him to become a nomad, traveling around the Mediterranean until he finally reached Cairo. In Cairo, he found himself pickpocketed by a young Aurora Monroe. Catching up with her, he was just about to use his psychic powers to probe her mutant talent further when he was smashed down by a psychic bolt, allowing Storm to escape. Sensing the psionic nexus inside a nearby saloon, I accidentally wrote salon in my notes.
That would have been a very different story.
That's not a place that Charles Xavier needs to go. In a nearby saloon, Chuck quickly identifies his enemy, Amahl Farouk, ruler of the Cairo Thieves' Quarter. As Charles probes his mind, he senses a disturbing evil inside the man. A psychic battle quickly begins on the astral plane. After a fierce battle in the psychic realm, Xavier ultimately emerges victorious, with Farouk collapsing at his saloon table, dead. Xavier experienced his death in his mind with him and continued his travels, with his first ever experience of an evil mutant inspiring him to form his first X-Men team. Back in the present day, Lilandra tells Xavier that there is nothing left for him here and that he should leave Earth with her. Finally, he agrees. Good riddance.
Well, bye. Won't miss you.
Our issue ends on Jean Grey at Kennedy International Airport, where someone other than Chuck can finally go on vacation. She runs into her roommate, Misty Knight, who is heading to Japan on a job. It actually says erstwhile roommates, so she must have moved out at some point.
Aww.
Yeah, I liked their little friendship.
Me too. Well, their apartment was destroyed by a Fire Lord, so...
Right, so that tracks. As she departs, she tells Jean to say hello to Scott for her, unaware of the X-Men's apparent death. What surprises will Japan hold for Misty? Alone at the airport, Jean realizes for the first time since joining the X-Men, she has no one to turn to or depend on except for herself, and that scares the hell out of her.
Oh, Jeannie, you'll be okay.
We'll see.
I got a good feeling it's going to be smooth sailing for Jean Grey from now on.
Should we get into the ups of this issue?
Let's get into the ups.
Claremontian prose is back, baby.
Yeah, baby!
Our boy is cooking on this one because we get like the scene descriptions and Xavier telling his story. We get gems like, with the final embrace, the two friends part and a door closes on a portion of Jean Grey's life, perhaps forever. We also got, I felt his thoughts. It was like swimming in a sea of maggots. And our final scene with Jean gives us the big 747 heading west into the setting sun. As it fades from sight, Jean Grey suddenly finds herself shivering, and she realizes, with a start, for the first time since joining the X-Men, she's on her own, with no one to turn to or depend on, save herself, and that scares the hell out of her.
This is where Claremont really shines, right? Because our problem with the last storyline was that there was too much story and too many things happening for there to be any prose squeezed into it. This one is relatively light on action, really, because it's just about Chuck thinking about a time that he went to Cairo, thought at someone really hard, and that guy died. And that's sort of all that happens.
And it's dope.
It's dope. I'm going to get into how dope it is.
I got a lot. I want to talk about him thinking at a guy till he dies.
And that's it. When you get to make that interesting is challenging, and they do it really well.
What up have you got for me?
My first up, I like the little cameo we get from Childstorm. Just as a little sidebar on this, I totally didn't click that her name was Aurora Monroe until you said it in the synopsis, which of course it is, because her dad's David Monroe, one of my boyfriends. But Aurora Monroe, it sounds like... Do you ever see 30 Rock, where they talk about the show called The Raw Juror? Yeah, it's just giving me that.
Forever.
Yeah. Okay, yes, I like the cameo from Childstorm, particularly because... I'm sorry, Dave Cockram. This is the first child I've ever seen in these stories who actually has the face of a child. And she's very...
I thought you were going to complain about the face again, and I made a little note. Like I mentioned it in my notes. I know Shawnee hates Little Storm with an old face. Because I preempted that she was going to do it.
You did.
But she didn't. She liked the face.
You didn't. The eyes are proportionate. She's got nice little chubby cheeks. She doesn't have the fierce eyeliner. Not that I ever disparage a fierce eyeliner, but it doesn't belong on a 6-year-old. She's depicted very
Eat your heart out, honey boo-boo.
Oh, I like how Chuck describes her. Oh my God. First honey boo-boo reference to the pod. I like how Chuck describes her having a bubbly telepathic laugh, okay? It's just cute. It's a cute little thing. It's cute. The whole scene's cute.
I like that she took his wallet.
I love that she took his wallet. That is the creme de la creme.
For those of you in the audio medium, we are still losing it over the Honey Boo Boo joke. I've been crying laughing while Shawnee was talking. She's been trying to hold it together.
Oh my God.
I'm weirdly invested in the story of Chuck and Moira's love affair and her sending him a letter to break off the engagement while he was away at war. It makes me want to know what happened and why. So I hope we get more of that soon, because it's like these little nuggets that Claremont gives us. This issue felt like a throwback to the earlier ones we read, where we were getting lots of little chunks of the upcoming stories.
Yeah.
We've got the X-Men fighting off the deadly storm on their raft and then getting picked up by the Japanese ship. We get Jean running into Misty at the airport. We get Lilandra telling Chuck to come to space with her. And we get, like I said, what happened with Chuck and Moira. So after this long run of storylines where like so much is happening, there's no space to put in like teasers for what's coming.
Yeah, true.
You know, way back when we got like a couple of panels of Black Tom Cassidy before the issues where Black Tom Cassidy revealed himself.
Yes.
So this I really like. What's your next up?
The entire setup of Chuck and Farouk having this mental duel within their minds while sitting silently across the table from one another is such a fun concept.
Dope.
So dope. When they're in the like astral plane where this battle's taking place, their astral forms are illustrated as like these translucent apparitions. It's really nice work from John Scumbucket Byrne.
Scumbucket, I like that one.
Yeah, thank you. I'll have a new one every issue. Farouk turns into this like big armored samurai who gets bigger and more demonic as the fight goes on, until he morphs into this weird giant monster. Chuck gets... What? Do you know what his armor is referencing? Because he looks like something. I can't tell you what it is, if it's like historically based on something.
It's referencing a man in armor.
I guess so. He's just got like... The helmet is so specific. If anyone knows like what it is, because I didn't know whether it was going to be like, oh, I'm a samurai. Well, I'm a 15th century Dutch, whatever, you know?
Somebody who played a lot of Age of Empires, let us know. I realized I forgot that I was going to complain about John Byrne in my downs of the last issues. I had
perfect.
that down.
Chuck it in here.
I must have forgot to write it down because I got a compliment for the big stupid idiot here. Because it seemed like he wasn't invested in the storyline and just avoided drawing a whole lot of backgrounds.
Agreed.
Because we get those big, beautiful splash pages. And in the issues where they were in Magneto's base, I gave him like a lot of grace. And I was like, yeah, I think that the lack of backgrounds here is meant to show the claustrophobia of the base and then the lava trickling through it. I thought it was cool. But then there's so much of those scenes where there's just nothing in the background the whole time they're inside the city and in a lot of those different places. We get like big, nice splash pages and stuff, but it just seemed like he didn't draw any backgrounds.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking maybe he drew so few backgrounds in those issues because he was spending all his time working on the gorgeous scenery in this issue.
Yeah, he was.
Because the mansion looks stunning, especially Chuck's office while he's sitting there moping.
Doesn't it?
Then we get to Cairo and we get these beautiful cityscapes, beautiful depictions of like the alleys and the streets and inside the saloon. It feels like it's pulled from like an old adventure movie from the 1950s. Like that's like some real pulpy, like black and white adventure movie.
True.
Is what this scenery is reminding me of. It's gorgeous.
Absolutely.
From a big stupid idiot.
From a big stupid idiot. Yeah, you're so right. Because, and not only does the scenery of where it's set look really impressive, the composition that he's doing with these pages to tell the story is really inspired in a lot of places. It flows really beautifully. There's a lot of abstract concepts that are being used really effectively. And my favorite depiction in the entire issue is the final moment after Charles wins the mental battle. It's composed in such an effective way. It's 3 wide panels that are stacked one on top of the other.
I'm so ready to talk about these panels.
Yes, right? The first is Chuck and Farouk sitting across from one another in the saloon. No words spoken. The second is the same illustration, but Farouk has just slumped onto the table dead. And the third is exactly the same setting again, with Farouk's minions running to his body while Chuck puts on his hat and is just walking out the door. And it's just staged with such beautiful timing. Like, I can see this timing exactly if it was a movie. That's just sick.
That's what my notes say, is that this feels like it's pulled straight out of a movie. Like, it feels really cinematic. And it feels very modern. Like, a lot of more modern comics have very decompressed storytelling like this with wide panels. And it's used so effectively here that the panels are like virtually identical, except for the things that Seanny describes of like these minute things that happen. The middle one of Farouk flopping down onto the table absolutely kills me.
Oh, so good.
It makes Chuck look dope. And like he looks tough and cool. Like, this is something you can never really say about him.
Oh my God.
I want to watch the Charles Xavier, Indiana Jones type movie.
That's it. Him just putting on the hat, leaving without a word. And you see the big scorch mark on his back as well as he's leaving. Mwah.
It's so cool, like, as well, right after that, like, you get those 3 panels, and then there's a little panel of Charles at the bottom of the page where he says, Farouk told me that the physical death is instantaneous, but the psychic death would be, like, suffering for an entire eternity.
Yeah.
Again, awesome. Like, really cool issue.
So cool. So cool. Well done, Chuck. You made me care about something that you're doing.
I have one last up. Lalandra wants Charles off Earth. Good, get that sucker out of here.
Yeah, that's my last up too. Bye.
High five. Boom. That's the sound a high five makes. All right, let's get into the downs. I know we've got the same first down. Is it about bagels?
It involves bagels, yeah.
Yeah. Lalandra deserves so much better than Charles.
Oh, girl.
She's in the kitchen, learning how to make coffee for him. She doesn't even understand it. She's gone out of her way to make him a bagel and schmear with salmon, and he tells her that he doesn't want to eat it. Charles loves to force a powerful woman into the kitchen and then underappreciate them. First, it's a renowned geneticist.
Yes.
And world famous with a mutant research facility of her own, forcing her into the kitchen. Now, it's the head of an intergalactic navy, and she's got to make you bagel and schmear that you're not even going to eat. Get out of here. What are you going to say about it?
Get out of here. Oh my God. Lalandra, get some standards. You talk about how happy you are with Chuck, yet we have seen literally nothing except you being a caring, well-dressed queen while Charles acts like surly garbage in the shadows. This is giving like a beautiful goth baddie when she's dating a selfish, whiny loser, and she's bringing him his favorite meals while he sits in the dark playing League of Legends and doesn't say thank you.
Goth girls with their boyfriends who work in IT.
That's it.
It's a trope. It's a trope. You'll see him at the shops.
You saw one at the beach the other day.
Yes. Her boyfriend definitely worked in IT.
That's what reminded me.
And not in a trans woman way.
Oh, what's your next down?
Charles really has no sense of theatre because he thinks to himself that Farouk is wasting energy on glorified special effects during their psychic battle.
True.
He's doing it because it's cool, man.
It's cool.
It's cool. You have the power to create any scene you want in your mind. You just want to be like fighting it out on just this completely empty black space? Or do you want to fight it out on a cool intergalactic arena and turn into like big green monsters and stuff?
Yes, totally agreed.
What's your downs, girl?
Not only does Chuck kick off this whole flashback story about him taking yet another vacation. He kicks it off after being rude to Lilandra by saying, it all started back when I was with the love of my life, my ex-girlfriend Moira. We were so happy. It's like, Charles Xavier may be able to read minds, but he cannot read a room to save his life.
What a bar.
Yeah, what's your next?
I'm out of downs. I only had 2, and you told me to go first. You're being a gentlewoman.
I am. I'm a gentlewoman. And I'm not going to be gentle now because I'm about to lay some more scorched earth, because this is the first time I've actually been engaged in a storyline involving Charles Xavier. And I was hanging off his every word until he finishes this issue by saying that after this thing with Farouk, he came home and formed the X-Men, and they became a family that he loves so much. Now, Beth's already had her big rant about Chucky's shortcomings in our previous episode. So I'm just going to echo that by saying, how the hell has Charles shown any kind of love to this family? He spent the whole time they were alive being emotionally and physically unavailable to them when they actually needed it. And now that he thinks they're dead, he's going to grieve them. Boo!
Hearing you say this, it's like it's watching my baby girl all grown up.
And
Because I've raised you to be a little mini me with Charles Xavier.
Well, see, this is it, right? Because, like, Havoc, I really don't know much about, but, like, I'm happy to jump on that hate because it's fun. And Charles, I was like, oh, I'll get on board this as well. He kind of sucks. But, like, he sucks. He's just...
Oh, yeah.
This is the only time he's been kind of cool. And then he had to remind us right at the end about how much he sucks in every other issue.
You know, in the 60s run, he makes all the X-Men think he's dead and locks himself away in like a secret room of the mansion, I think, to prepare for some like alien threat called Factor 3 who are going to come and who the X-Men defeat in a couple of issues. You did not need to fake your death for that.
Charles Xavier, king of the unnecessary ruse.
He's been pulling this since day dot.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. We got to talk about some X's. Let's watch this bad taste out of our mouths.
In Charles' little flashback before he gets to Cairo, we just get one little sentence of him mentioning that he made it to the Greek island of Kyranos, and the panel shows him walking past a painter painting a landscape outside. Now, that's where Chuck and Lilandra went on their little honeymoon, ?
Yeah.
Trip together, like
Yeah.
a little couple's vacation. But why do we need to know that he went there? And who is this painter? And why was this important at all that he went to a Greek island? And now I'm in Cairo.
Yeah, that's so right. And he says as well, he's like, I went to the Greek island and I helped the locals there. And the depiction of him helping the locals is walking past a man doing a painting.
I mean, it looks pretty mopey while he's doing it.
He is. Maybe he inspired that painter. And that painter grew up to be...
John Byrne.
Hey, nice. Okay, there we go. Okay, Chuck finishes telling Lilandra this long, detailed story about his mental battle with Farouk. And we cut back to present day in his office. And poor Lilandra is still holding the tray with the pot of coffee and the bagel on it. And I can only imagine at some point she went to put it down and he said, no. There will be no moving until I've completed my anecdote. I want you engaged.
I hate this man. All right, my last X. Chuck's psionic form looks like Chuck. Farouk's psionic form also looks like Chuck, but bigger. Why has this happened? Does everyone have the same psionic form and it's just a coincidence that Charles Xavier looks like that in real life?
Yes, unless you buy the skins, you get the same basic form to begin with.
Real life's just like Fortnite. The astral plane. Fortnite on the astral plane. When are they dropping it? I'm not playing anymore because they put Harry Potter in it.
Oh, boo.
Sue me. I forgot when I talked about video games, I forgot to say that I was really obsessed with Fortnite.
That's right. And that's the Quadrector.
And when I told Seanny that, she's like, I cannot possibly understand what you would like about this game with everything I know about you. And I said, I just like getting on my little headset and talking to my friends.
Yeah, see, that's cute. That's the part that I do get.
I'm bad at it.
If Betty can have a little yap with her friends, then she'll do any activity to do it.
Hey.
You once said that you would learn how to play Warhammer with me if it meant that we could chat during it.
That doesn't sound like me.
Okay.
Did I say it on the air?
This podcast wasn't even a glint in the milkwoman's eye. Okay. My last
X, please, Seanny.
I just want to get this straight, okay? Can Charles...
Wrong podcast, then.
I just want to get this gay as hell, okay? Can Charles sense the X-Men's minds from anywhere on the planet, or can he not? Because if he jumped into Cerebro at any point, he would see that the other X-Men are alive and in Antarctica. And instead, he's really invested in the fact that they're dead.
He lost his psychic rapport with them when they were, like, under Antarctica, right? Like, they went out of reception.
Oh, no, that's right.
Yeah, that's when he sensed the death, right? Like, when they're under Magneto's base, under Antarctica. And so it's like he thinks they're dead just because they went out of reception. But they've been to space before.
Yeah.
Like, they're back in 5G now that they're out of there. They got bars again.
Well, they should be, because they just got picked up by the Japanese ship. And that's how this issue starts. He didn't get the little ping that like, oh, no, there they are. That's fine.
It's like he should be getting the little, like, remember on MySpace, there was like that little orange person that said online now.
I do remember that. What a beautiful
little
memory.
MySpace reference.
That half of our audience will probably never understand.
How young do you think our audience is? Because
I reckon about issues from the 1970s.
I think it's pretty safe that most of our audience is aware of MySpace, Seanny. Come on. Oh, no. All those Gen Alphas who are watching the X-Men pod. If you're under the age of 30, comment. Do you know what MySpace is? And what was your profile song?
Thank God that they're going to understand your Honey Boo Boo reference then.
I've never even seen an episode of Honey Boo Boo. Are we done with the X's?
Me either.
We got off the rails. Best and worst dressed.
Woo!
I'm predictable, Seanny. Jean's my best dressed again.
Of course, I knew it would be.
You're like, I gotta leave these for Beth so I don't double up now, because I know this is what Beth's gonna pick. I'm gonna throw you a curveball sometime.
Yeah.
Jean looks just gorgeous as she's leaving the mansion. Hair worn down, side swept, that swoopy hair, just like 70s teased up Farrah Fawcett vibes.
Gorgeous.
Emerald green turtleneck with lots of black shading so the color looks deep on the page.
Yeah.
Lime green sweater around her shoulders. Lace up lime green boots that match the sweater. Baby pink lipstick. And of course, that gorgeous green tartan knee-length skirt.
Beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
No jokes at all. Great fit.
And I love how much green Jean wears because she knows it complements her hair so well. She manages to look cute and spunky and smart all at the same time. And that's why it is also my technical pick for best dressed.
Technical pick. So what, you've picked two?
Well, I have thoughts on this because this was a really tricky one for me, right? Because in my heart of hearts, the outfit that I love the most in an objectionable void is Storm's Savage Land robes.
Oh, I'm excited to tear the lid off this.
Yes, right? Because it's a really cool, like, asymmetrical top that's, like, scooping up one shoulder. And she's got this cloak that is also asymmetrical. Seanny loves asymmetry, okay? That's, like, torn in just the most beautiful stringy places. There's some, like, nice gems on there. And she's got a matching loincloth in the same sort of thing. from what we know of Storm as a character, she finds wearing less clothes empowering and says as much about the outfit in the text of the page. However, we do have to acknowledge that this is a comic written and drawn by men who will sometimes have the male gaze in mind with their designs. And unfortunately, this was clearly the design of this because later in the issue, when Storm is attacked by Sauron, this costume stops being empowering and emphasizes her vulnerability. When she's splayed out in a really vulnerable way, the cloak's being ripped off her, the lack of clothing just emphasizes her helplessness, and it spoils the whole design for me knowing that this ulterior motive was in play.
Permission to let Beth spit.
Always.
When we talk about empowerment, we need to think of who the empowerment comes from.
That's right.
Because a woman's empowerment should come from herself, right? If it empowers her to wear that outfit because it makes her feel comfortable in her humanity and in her femininity, that's fantastic and it's respectable. But we are looking at a comic written by two cisgender white men, as we've said, and also every time she shows up in one of these outfits, because a similar thing happened in the carnival outfit where Mesmero has put her into that leopard print bikini sort of situation.
Yes.
Both those times we are greeted with panels of men leering at her as she appears in these outfits.
Yes.
And so I gave these writers a lot of credit in the scene way back when we're at the mansion and Storm is bathing naked in the rain that she generates in her room. And I'm like, yeah, it didn't come off exploitative. It seemed true to her character because it reflects the things that she's saying. And so they're saying these things. She hates clothes, right? So the Savage Land is a place where she probably would be free to be nude if she hated clothes. Instead, they've put her in a revealing outfit because they want themselves and the readers to leer at her.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to say that if somebody reading this saw Storm doing this and it empowered them to do something that made them feel good about themselves, I would never begrudge anyone that.
Of course.
Because, you know, our empowerment can also come from the role models that we see.
That's right. And I will do that. Thank you.
Seeing Storm being comfortable with herself here could be inspiring for people, but looking at the intent behind it just puts a little bit of an icky taste in the mouth as we're exposed to it. Are we still in Best Dressed?
We're still in Best Dressed, and we've managed to make it a sidebar into empowerment. But I think this is an important thing for us to talk about too, right? Because this is going to come up, especially in the fact that we are in an era where these costumes are going to be designed by men. And so
and
the
it's
intent
just going to
behind
get
it is
worse
important.
and worse. Yeah, as time goes on, these costumes are going to get skimpier and skimpier, and the proportions are going to get more exaggerated. And I love a lot of those designs and a lot of those characters. But it's probably good that we knock this conversation out of the way now so we don't have to have it about every appearance of 90s Psylocke.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a lot to think about. I don't think I landed on anything there with what I was saying.
No, I think you said it really well. And I'm glad that we covered this. And your reward for saying it so well is getting to tell me who you think the worst dressed was.
I went back and forth on this, so I have a little sidebar at the end.
Great.
My worst dressed is Zaladane, the High Priestess
interesting.
of the Sun God. Because what is this outfit? I think she's meant to be bird-like. It looks like she's in an Always Sunny Birds of War type outfit. Feathers all over the top and bottom of the cape. Red mini dress underneath it that seems almost scaly, like a lizard bird.
It does.
And on top of her head, she has this ridiculous gold mohawk on top of her head that I think is meant to be some kind of crown. But it goes from front to back.
Yeah.
And I can't work out how it's attached to her head. Then just red circles drawn on her hair for some reason. And to top it all off, she has taken Garrock out of the blue jeans he was wearing when he got transformed from Kirk Marston and put him in a cape that's virtually the same as hers. Accessories are important to any outfit, and a man made of rocks is a terrible accessory.
Well done. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
And very funny because my worst dressed is Garrock, that accessory. Like,
a perfect pair.
yes, because first off, have you ever been cleaning your oven and you find like a burnt frozen chip that's been dropped at the back and forgotten about for months and it's just completely charred? He looks like that. And then they just slap this big red cloak on him with some feathers at the bottom. He's basically nude under there, as we see later when he's fighting Cyclops. Nothing about his character looks good or threatening as a villain, and he really needed it to be, because God knows nothing about him is interesting. He should have. I really wished he had just hung around in those blue jeans. And he had
I messaged Shawnee the other day, and I was like, I'm really thinking about making Garrock my worst dress when he turns from Kirk Marston and he's wearing the shackles and the blue jeans. And I was like, you know what? That's not his fit. That's Kirk Marston's fit. So that's not fair on Garrock. That's bad faith fashion criticism. And that's not what I'm about. But you know what? Like, a pair of blue jeans is a look anyone could pull off, even a man made of rocks.
That's it. That's it. And he really should have stuck around in him because the cape does nothing for him.
Oh, is that a wrap on the episode, Shawnee?
I think that's a wrap.
Thank you for tuning in, Flat Scans. And next time, we will be back with some more issues. We are going to be continuing our little journey with the separated X-Men and hoping they find each other again as we read X-Men 118 to 121. 4 more issues for our beautiful, beautiful team of merry mutants who are going through all kinds of stuff. And let's hope we get less angry and confused when we go to Japan.
Sounds good. Let's do it, hopefully.
Thank you, Flat Scans. We are the X-Men, the next stage in human evolution. 2 trans women exploring the X-Men. Signing off. Mwah. We got a comment that was like, more Jimmy Stewart, please. So it's just going to be episode after episode going, it's a very interesting situation.
Until we have one that is 100% Jimmy, and you start off by being like, hello, Flat Scans.
Oh, you want the moon? I'll go up there and I'll throw a lasso around it. I'll bring it down here for you. What's that accent?
Oh my God.
It's the accent of heaven.
That's it. Everyone who gets to heaven sounds like that.
Yeah, you're at the pearly gates and St. Peter's just like, oh, welcome. I see you've been very good in your life. Oh, the bell's going to ring and I'm going to get my wings.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to check I'm recording and then I'm going to start the episode.